This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. This is an ongoing show. We're talking a little bit about everyone's favorite MOBA-style battle game. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot to talk about this week, but we will be going over what did come out. The major news this week is, of course, Spirit Guide Uydr? Spirit Guardian Uydr is out on the PvE. It's the next ultimate skin that we'll be looking forward to in the coming weeks.
And we have our opinions to it, as well as many others we've heard about this week.
Indeed. Another thing coming out this week is the Calvary Sejuani skin. This is on the PvE as well, and it's to signify the launching of, I believe, Russian-specific servers?
Yeah, Russian-specific servers. I'm surprised that they didn't put one out for Oceanic, because that's also coming out here soon.
They may yet have something like that, maybe like Kangaroo Nunu?
Kangaroo Nunu?
Kangaroo Nunu? They can do something goofy with that, totally. And there's also some red posts and some interesting stuff, perhaps a teaser to the next champion as well. So we'll go over that real quick and see what you guys think. First thing on our list is Spirit Guardian Uydr.
Now, if you look at the skin, we're going to kind of go through the different 4 splash arts. It has 4 different splash arts, as well as kind of its own, special form. It looks good, but this should be like basic remaked Uydr, because this is honestly stuff that should be basic at this point. If he's gonna get a skin like this should be a model remake, so they can actually do more with him.
I've said this a dozen times or more, maybe even more than that, maybe more than a dozen times.
So, but to the squared.
Uydr is a boring champion to play. He is. You get 4 auto attack modifiers and a stun. That's dull. That's very dull. But the thing to understand about this skin is that they really did the best of what they could with his kit. I mean, you take a champion like Ezreal, he's got a laser beam, he's got a supercharged global ult, he teleports. That's stuff you can make an ultimate skin out of easy. This one you've got to make the best of. Hey, he's this auto attack modifier now. He's this auto attack modifier now. I mean, they supplemented that with lots of voice work. There's lots of voice work with this skin.
A lot of visual output to it too, that's the most appealing part about the skin is you feel like you're actually doing something with this character, even though it's switching stances to punch things in a different way.
Yeah, it's a little distracting almost. I mean, you get a huge just bear over you when you switch to bear stance. It's almost I want to say it's kind of bad. Yeah, because it telegraphs your moves really easily.
Yeah, because with Uydr, it's kind of like a bear or turtle stance. You get like a small little shell over you, and then you've got like Phoenix stance where just like a ring of fire pops out, or bear form where you just stun someone.
Yeah, I mean it's a little more subtle, especially if you have the sound turned a little bit down. But this one, I mean, it telegraphs it completely, so it's almost a disadvantage.
Yeah, but the animations to it look really good. This is some pretty great animation stuff, like the ghosts and stuff. And then, he's in his form.
He talks to other champions as well.
Really? I didn't see that yet.
Oh, yeah. No, for every stance, he talks to champions that are specific to that stance. It's like when he's in turtle stance, he calls out Rammus. Phoenix stance, he calls out Anivia.
Bear form, Volibear, probably?
Volibear, yes. And I believe for tiger stance, he talks to Nidalee.
That's pretty funny. Actually, I didn't know that.
So like I said, there's lots of voice work to this kid.
Also, his taunt brings out the spirit of Earth.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing because he's just like taunt, and all of a sudden it's like, Earth! And I'm like, oh, I have to get this skin now, just for the fact that Ghost Earth will fight to the death.
Well, it is a $25 skin, but when they released the $25 Ezreal skin, it was 50% off for a week, so you may get it for $12.
Along with getting the skin, you're also going to be getting 4 character portraits, one representing each stance of him, as well as a 5th one representing him normally. And this also carries along with the form icons, just like Ezreal.
And you also get fancy new summoner banners and summoner icons. And on the PvE right now, they're talking about having special champion indicators on your minimap for ultimate skins.
That'd be kind of cool.
I think it's kind of a...
overkill?
It's kind of a pay-to-win thing.
Yeah, that is true.
Because you might not be able to identify it easily right away, because you're used to seeing the normal Ezreal icon or the normal Uydr icon. Let's even see this guy. What's going on?
Yeah, but how fast did it make you change, thinking?
I'm sure I'd pick it up, but still.
Yeah, like the first week, it's like, I'll get $25 so I can mess with people on my mini-map for 10 minutes in a game. Woo! I don't know, that's not what I'm too worried about. But honestly, overall, I think at most this should have been a legendary or a champion rework. It is not worth $25. It is not.
Yeah, it's definitely it's very nice, and there's all the stuff in there to make it an ultimate skin, but ultimately, I see Uydr as ultimately a boring champion.
Ultimately.
But yeah, guys, what do you think? Do you think this is a good choice for an ultimate skin? Do you think Uydr is a little too boring for this? Do you think he's a great pick? Do you think some of the little tools they're throwing in its direction are a little bit too powerful for an ultimate skin and ultimately a pay-to-win option?
Ultimately.
I'm getting really good with that word. Another thing coming out on the PB, like we said, is the Calvary Sejuani map. This is coming out with the Russian servers that are being deployed. In addition to the Australian servers, we've yet to see an Australian skin. Who knows if that's coming or not, but we'll see. This skin itself, it's very cute. I'm glad they're having different mount options for Sejuani, and I hope they continue with that trend. Like I said, I'd love to see that motorcycle Sejuani skin at some point, but who knows?
I think the theme of Mecha Bear with her with like Soviet Russia hat and stuff like that, it's cute. I like it.
Bear Calvary, dude.
Bear Calvary is amazing. Like, it's a good concept, and I think that incorporates Russia in a nutshell. It's like, we ride bears.
Comrade Bear.
So, I don't know, I'm excited for it. I might pick it up if I play Sejuani.
I believe the Russian players get it for free.
Yeah, just like any other opening, if you start playing on that on the new servers or transfer over, you get the skin for free. So, that's always a plus.
As far as I'm aware, there's been some slight contention about that, but for the most part, people on the forum are keeping them in check.
Well, it's a way to get people to transfer over to their appropriate servers. Same with like the Latin American servers with Ghost by Morgana. Same thing. Hey guys, we have a new server open for you. If you come join us, you'll get this cool skin for free, and everybody else around the world has to pay. LOL.
Yeah, it's definitely good motivation, but I can't wait to see how it looks. Finally, we have a lot of red posts this week. There's a lot of cool stuff about Spirit Guard Uydr. People are talking about the different kind of summons he does, which is cool. We've gone over that a little bit. The next thing, they're talking a little more about the restricted chat experiment. This is something they've done where rather than muting players so they can't even talk to their team after some bad behavior, they are limited to a certain palette of words. So they can still communicate with their team, but they can't really be abusive.
Because it's 5 sentences that you can use for the first 10 minutes, and depending or not if you use them all at once to yell at someone or kind of spread out, they kind of give you more. And I talked to some people about like how they handle it in Dota, where it's just you're completely muted. And I told them about this option, and they're really kind of interested in about. They're like, well, this is a good chance because it's like they have to actually use their words wisely, and let people know in dire situations. Like, okay, I'm being punished, so now I have to talk strategically. And then afterwards, they kind of get into that habit.
Well, Dota is a little bit different because their ping system and the way they have items set up is a lot more cohesive to saying what's going on the map without having to type things out. Plus, their voiceover is much more robust. You know, whenever you say, like, an enemy is missing, your champion literally yells out, "Hey, this guy's missing from top!" And you're like, "Oh, thanks, Skeleton King." So, mixed results from this, but so far the feedback's been positive, and this might be something we see implemented very soon.
Well, it's already implemented into the main game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is.
I guess I don't get muted very often.
Well, no. Remember we talked about it.
Oh, we did talk about this.
Yeah, it was a live test, and they said that it was a 15% decrease in the number of players who returned to the tribunal within the month. Nice. So that's pretty good. 15% of the league community. That's a lot of dickheads.
Mm-hmm.
They also were talking about the concept art for a lot of skins and other champions coming up from Grumpy Monkey, and it's actually a pretty interesting read. You get to kind of see the evolution of the skin and kind of the concept art, and some of the concept art looks really cool, like Dark Crystal Rise. I really like the art to it, and then seeing how it became, it's like, oh, it looks so much cooler, but...
Yeah, who knows? It's way easy to draw something, but to put it in a league where everything's kind of colorful and a little bit more geometric, the transition can sometimes be a little bit rough, and we can obviously see that here. Vi
is a very good example of that. Her concept was totally different than the final verdict. Like, her gloves went all the way up to her elbows.
And she had robot legs.
Robot legs!
But honestly, it's really interesting to see the process that it goes through. I mean, a lot of times you have people challenging your opinion and doing stuff like that. And ultimately, it turns out a little bit different than what you originally planned to.
Yeah, one of the other things they were talking about is the next champion that's in the works from, I think it was a Russian designer.
Hmm.
I don't remember, but he says that kind of stuff. He can't really talk too much about the champion. He says that they've been working on it for a while, and it was taking a while because they kept moving his ult until it was at a spot that they're happy. So this champion has been through a lot of tweaks. So hopefully it's a champion we've heard about, rumored about for a while, or this is something that's legally. Her ult was too powerful. We had to nerf it.
I tried to silence my thoughts. Is that have I done that too much?
Not enough.
Anyway, that's it for official news this week, guys. Like we said, unfortunately, it's kind of a slow week, especially with LCS going on. They're very distracted. But
how is the LCS going? I haven't been able to keep up with it.
A lot of interesting plays, a lot of rage this year.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception, but from what I've seen, players are getting really kind of fierce with each other. So I don't know.
Aren't they implementing something this PBE patch where you can buy an icon for a specific
Yes, they
team
are.
for 250 rep points? What do you think about that?
I think it's overpriced and ridiculous. They let us have them for free when the World Championship was going on.
And just let them wear them. No, we can wear them for free, but if you want to keep it, it's 250.
Oh, well, in that case, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, 250, I'm not going to pay 250 for an icon. It kind of sucks because I try to collect as many icons as I can, and I don't really want to buy it. Maybe they might implement a feature to let us buy them with a lot of IP, which I'd be okay with. But
who knows? Summoner icons, people love them. I'm sure people will get them. I am glad that you can at least use them for free, if not keep them. But anyway, moving on to our own section here.
Our first question this week comes from Mester12, and he says, "What is your favorite arcade game?" FYI, I will be on vacation, so I will not be on for a time, so you guys won't have questions.
No!
So that means everybody else needs to step it up a bit. Snap, son. But, what is my favorite arcade game? There are two really fun arcade games. Turtles in Time, arcade game, and there was another one. I can't really remember it. Skee-Ball. Skee-Ball. Definitely Skee-Ball.
I have three. It says arcade games, so I'm taking this as my three. First of all, I love me some Joust. Joust is just an amazing game.
I remember when we went to that bar and you saw Joust, and you were just
I just freaked out. Yeah. I love that. But after that is the Star Wars Trilogy arcade game. You sit down in the chair, you fly around, you fire your blaster. Oh, so many memories. I love that thing. I don't see it very often anymore. It makes me sad. And third and final, the one I get to play all the time, Time Crisis. Dear Lord, do I love me some Time Crisis. Time Crisis 2 and 3, so fun. So fun.
I'm sorry, I just thought about my absolute favorite game, Gauntlet Legends and Gauntlet Dark Legacy.
Ooh. See,
you got to play that on a PlayStation though, because it's so cheap.
Yeah, the arcade machine hates you.
Well, no, your health decreases while you're playing, so it's
you're on a time limit.
But it's just like it's still a really fun game, and I wish they would get like a next gen version or port it so we can have like 4-player co-op again, because that's a great game, especially for fight nights.
I spent hours and hours and hours.
911
playing four-player Gauntlet Legends on my N64 back in the day.
Gauntlet Dark Legacy is just like, it was one of those sequels that it's like, okay, here's the original, and then we're gonna add so much more to it, and you're like, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. But great question. Next question is from Miggy Knot. He says, "Okay, I need some thoughts on this. Should Spirit Guard Uydr have been a visual update as opposed to an ultimate skin?"
We kind of talked about this.
You mentioned this.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't even see the question before we started talking. I have to agree with you on this, Midginot. It's not good enough to be a normal skin. Uydr is a very bland character, and you can't do much with him. If you changed him into something like this, kind of give his like bare, kind of rugged hermit-looking original model, and then updated it so you can actually do more with it, that would be fine. But right now, $25 for a skin that was really overdue, it's like making Bloodstone Tarek a legendary skin because, hey, Uydr players finally need another skin, might as well make it ultimate.
Yeah, this is something I thought about. Uydr is a champion I'm sure is going to get reworked soon. And they're going to update his rig and everything. And then Spirit Guard Uydr is going to get updated too. So it's going to put him in a bad spot because it's an ultimate skin they got to update.
Well, I bet the ultimate skin won't be touched because essentially it changes the character model as is, and it's already a higher quality. So Spirit Uydr will be kept the same, and then all those other skins will kind of be bumped up a notch. And then maybe his ultimate.
All those other skins? You mean the Primal and Riot?
Yeah, maybe they actually will do something with them. But essentially, they're gonna mess with his kit, and it's gonna make those animations for Spirit Rise look better. But at the moment, I'm not paying $25, $12.50 at max, just because of like how cool it looks. And even though I don't play Uydr.
Yeah, Uydr, not a very interesting champion for me. But as far as a visual update, I don't think he was due for it. I mean, he certainly is due, but I think rather than a visual update, they'd have to do an entire rework of the champion because he's just not fun to play. It's really dull.
And apparently he's related to Lysandra lore, so they'll have to update to make sure.
And he's also related to Lee Sin.
Well, Lee Sin, that makes sense because Uydr met a monk from Ionia who he fought with for a while, and that was Lee Sin, who was led up to later, and that was like the biggest speculation because they talked about that before Lee Sin came out, and that was like the big, oh, no way, and then it's like, oh no, it's April Fool's, and they're like, just kidding, he's real, and they're like, just kidding, he's not, and you're like, no.
And then you're like, Lysandra happened.
And then Lysandra happened, and Lee Sin was blind.
Anyway, that's it for questions this week, guys. We love questions. We try to answer at least 2 every week. So if you have a question for us about the show, about games in general, about anything really, we're happy to field them. Don't be afraid to ask. Post it in the comment section below. Send it to our email, spasticgaming@gmail.com, or post it on our new Facebook page. We have a contest that's happening probably within the next week or 2.
We're straightening out the rules. We got to make sure that there's no weird loopholes so we can get sued or anything.
And we can also make fun of you behind your backs, so that's important to us.
Also, guys, keep in mind that I did start a new job, so updates are going to be kind of spotty at best. I kind of get less time to work on the show, and getting time to actually record the show is a little off. We're recording this Friday night at midnight. It's going to be out later, so keep up with the Spastic Gaming Facebook page. I'll let you guys know if we're running behind to keep that lookout for, you know, any information that you can find. So, I'm rambling.
This has been Axis.
And Water Elemental.
And,
First Dance.